Today's lesson is all about a scientist called Jane Goodall. Let's start learning about her, shall we? So, our LO is to explore the work of naturalists and animal behaviourists. And the person we're looking at today, the scientist we're looking at today, is called Jane Goodall. And our science concept is still living things and their habitats. This is a cartoon image of Jane Goodall with the animal that she did lots of work about. So what is a naturalist or animal behaviourist? A naturalist is someone who studies and knows a lot about plants and animals. An animal behaviourist is someone who studies animals and learns about why animals behave the way they do. So who is Jane Goodall? Jane Goodall is a British scientist who has studied chimpanzees for many years. She is considered to be the world expert on chimpanzees and their behaviour. Goodall was born in 1934 in London. She's still alive today. When she was a child, her father gave her a chimpanzee toy, which began her lifelong love of animals. So let's look at her work. So Jane's work with chimpanzees. So in 1960, Goodall was appointed as a chimpanzee researcher by a famous archaeologist called Louis Leakey. Leakey sent her to Gombe Stream National Park in what is now called Tanzania in Africa to observe the chimpanzee troop living there. So this is a country she went to down here on the map in this continent of Africa. And you can see we're here. Tanzania was known as Tanganyika when Jane Goodall went to study the chimpanzees there. So her work with chimpanzees, Jane began to study the Kazikla chimpanzee community. She used unusual methods such as giving the chimpanzees names. At that time, scientists working with animals would use numbers to identify the animals, like that's number 1, that's number 400, so they didn't get too attached to the animals. Goodall's methods allowed her to observe the chimpanzees' personalities and emotions. Observing patiently over a number of years, Goodall won the trust of the chimpanzees and noticed new and interesting things about the chimpanzees' behaviour. She found that the chimpanzees had strong family bonds that would last for the whole of chimpanzees' lives. She observed family members hugging, kissing, patting each other on the back, and even tickling each other. Here's an image of a mother and child chimpanzee. Goodall became familiar with several families of chimpanzees and watched new family members be born. She saw the life cycle of chimpanzees in action. However, chimpanzees are in danger. So 100 years ago, there were around 1 million chimpanzees in Africa. Scientists believe that there are now fewer than 200,000 left in the wild. The species has already disappeared from 4 African countries, and chimpanzees are nearing extinction of several other countries. So what do you think has caused them to be endangered? Have a quick think. You can write some ideas down on paper or just say them out loud. If you want to pause the video, press the spacebar button or just pause it. Okay, I'm about to move on. So, poachers hunt and kill chimpanzees for bush meat, which is sold to people living in cities, so people eat their meat. Wars and conflict in the areas in which the chimpanzees live also cause habitat loss and can result in the deaths of chimpanzees. It's quite sad, isn't it? Baby chimpanzees are taken illegally to be exotic pets. Not a good idea. Chimpanzees lose their habitats when forests are cut down for timber or to clear space for farming. Think of the films Rio and Rio 2. Diseases can affect chimpanzees and can drastically reduce their population. Not good at all. All these threats prevent the chimpanzee life cycle from continuing in its normal way. This will eventually lead to the species becoming extinct. That means there are no more chimpanzees left, which would be a really sad thing to happen. So asking for help. Chimpanzees do still live in Tanzania, and the Gombe Stream chimpanzees are still living in the area where they were originally observed by Jane Goodall. Here it is, Tanzania. The Jane Goodall Institute was set up by Goodall to protect the wild chimpanzees that are left in Africa. The Institute supports sanctuaries and public education programs to protect chimpanzees in the wild. So they teach people about why they should look after them and not hunt them, for example. It raises money for these programs and developments through donations from the public. A donation is where someone gives money for a good cause. So our task today is to think about the life of Jane Goodall and to think about what did she do. So what was been the impact of the work? So your task is to create an information text or poster describing her work and the work of her institute, what they've done and the impact. And there's a link to the institute which will tell you about the work she's done with chimpanzees and other animals. And this is what it looks like on Teams. So you've got her name, the title, Jane Goodall. So the first subheading says, what did she do? And you can use this video and the information on it, and also the PowerPoint that I'll put up, the same PowerPoint as this, and this link here to help you find out some more. Why did she work with chimpanzees? So use your inference skill there. Why do you think she chose the animal of a chimpanzee? There could be a few reasons there. And what was her impact? For example, what did she achieve to help chimpanzees? Miss Turner, Miss Kenny and I and all the other adults in Year 5 look really forward to seeing your work. We hope you enjoyed this week's worth of lessons and we look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care now. Hope you enjoy this science lesson. Bye.